We're very pleased that you could join us today. At ILS, we place a high value on educated clients. We find that the more customers understand about the translation process, how they can help us manage their projects effectively, and basically what we need to do at our end in order to provide them with translations that are acceptable, to meet their business objectives. The more information that clients have, the happier they end up being, and a lot less frustration on both ends of the equation. If you're new to translations, personally, we hope to provide you with information to keep you from going down the wrong path. And if by chance you are experienced in managing translations, in all likelihood, you're operating within an organization that hasn't developed the process to manage translation, as well as it's managed some of its other processes, such as their accounting function or their manufacturing function. Translations has been a rapidly evolving need for organizations, and so a lot of them are still operating on an ad hoc basis. Please feel free to use any of my materials or to contact me if you need additional information to help educate others within your organization to manage your projects more effectively. Okay, we're going to start with a brief framework. I always like to keep the end game in mind, and that is, why do businesses need translations? Nobody wakes up in the morning and decides that they'd just like to spend a whole bunch of money translating things into different languages. Generally speaking, there's some sort of a catalyst going on at your end. Your business might be expanding in some way, or you need to address specific issues. Perhaps you just got your CE mark for European distribution. Maybe you've got a merger in progress where you need to consolidate materials that were written by a subsidiary. Perhaps you're rebranding, expanding your global positioning, or you need to meet commitment for a particular client engagement. Maybe you just sold a big deal in a foreign country. Now you need to provide training and documentation. We have clients who just want to look more global. Maybe they've got employees in multiple countries, and they've decided that it's high time they began communicating with those employees in their native languages. Whatever the reason, usually an organization either is looking to gain something specific, or they're looking to avoid something specific. So either they're looking to increase their revenue or decrease their liability. At the end of the day, it's your business objective that matters. The translated file itself is simply a means to an end. And that's really important because clients tend to get very focused on that file, that project, that thing that lands on their desk or in their email box that they need to get translated. They tend to become very focused on getting that file in whatever languages that they need. The reality is, what you're looking for is your successful product rollout, knowing the results of your clinical trial, or whatever specific objective you set out to accomplish. The translation is really just the final link, the final piece of the puzzle, connecting all of the efforts that you've put forth up until that point. So whatever it is, your product development, your research, your sales efforts, your manufacturing, your documentation, everything that you've put into your project will be worthless if you can't communicate with your target audience in the language that you set out to communicate in. Even if your target audience speaks English, and I hear this all the time, oh, well, we only work with engineers and they all speak English, so we don't need to translate. You will have much more impact communicating with your audience in their target language. What's very obvious when you're dealing with English files somehow manages to go out the window when it comes to translations. With English, you probably have layer upon layer of approval for documentation. You may have created style guides. You've got all kinds of approval processes, different departments signing off on brochures or manuals or whatever it is that you happen to be publishing. We encounter a lot of clients who think that that's the end of the story, and now all they need to do is convert their file. And I hear that word a lot, convert this file into these languages. That's really not a great way to think about this, because the translation that you receive and the resource that you choose to provide that is as important as the choice of your engineering team, your marketing team, your technical writers, your strategy. Again, if you don't complete that piece of the puzzle properly, all the time, effort, and dollars that have gone into your project will effectively be squandered. So focus on achieving your business objective, not converting files, and toward that end, on building a relationship with your translation resource. Here's my little commercial break. This is the highlights of International Language Services. Really, I just put this up here so you understand who we are and why we're qualified to educate you about translations. When you outsource translations, you are effectively engaging a partner to ensure that you appropriately connect with your audience and meet your goal. And in today's marketplace, you have many, many options. If you Google translation on the internet, I did it the other day, I got something like 5 million hits. So you need a methodology to help you differentiate between the offerings that are out there. And you also need to give some thought as to what specific requirements are important to you in selecting a vendor. For ILS, our main benefits that we provide our clients are subject matter expertise, which we'll discuss later on in this presentation. That is critical to achieving your objective and communicating properly. The other thing that's not noted on this slide is consistency and responsiveness. We're a very personalized service organization. We assign you to a project manager who is accessible. You can actually call us anytime. We do pick up our phones here, and everyone here knows who you are and the fact that you're one of our clients. We also work very hard to maintain consistency over time in terms of who you work with and what translators are assigned to your projects. And this is so that we can effectively become an extension of your team. We are as committed to attaining your objectives as you are. So if you place a high value on working with a vendor who's highly vested in your outcome, ILS is an excellent choice for you. Here's my contact information. You feel free at any time to contact me via email or to connect with us on social media. I play many roles here at ILS, but I do spend most of my time working with newer clients, helping to get them on board, set their expectations, educate them as to what is needed, and also to provide that link through their first couple of projects with the project management team so that we can see if any correction is needed for their subsequent projects. Because of that, I see every misstep that takes place that derails projects. I see the frustration of very knowledgeable individuals trying to work within organizations that just don't get it. So today's presentation is our attempt to summarize some of these recurring issues for you, along with presenting the information that we wish all of our clients knew. And that's, again, so that you can get your projects completed efficiently and effectively, and you can achieve your business objectives. Today we're going to visit 5 common myths that seem to be out there with respect to translations. There's actually a lot more than 5. We had to consolidate them. I think if I name the presentation 101 ways that clients shoot themselves in the foot, I'm not sure how many people would attend, but we're going to address some of the thinking behind these misconceptions, and then we're going to provide you with a blueprint for effective execution of your projects. We'll leave some time at the end for Q&A to address any specific issues that you have. Okay, let's get started. Number one, all translation providers supply essentially the same quality of service. Customers tend to go out on the internet, collect a bunch of quotes, and more often than not, they simply choose the lowest one. I'm not sure what it is about translations that makes people suddenly believe everything that they read on the internet, but the internet is a great equalizer. It makes all companies look pretty much the same. It's very easy to put a marketing message out there and have people believe it. So you need to be very cautious about questioning the vendors that you find on the internet, know what you're looking for, to make sure that you focus on the issues that are most relevant to you. What happens is buyers frequently get confused. All the vendors talk about what great quality, what great service, the whiz-bang tools that they offer to manage your product. The buyers become confused and they start focusing on what they know, how much and how fast, which is the essence of purchasing a commodity product. Translations are not a commodity, they're a professional service. Quality is not free. When you go out and you do collect quotes and you see a huge disparity in price, very often there are specific reasons behind those pricing disparities. And if you don't understand the exact services that are being offered, what's included in that quote, you may end up choosing a resource that's not the best fit for you. I like to use tax preparation, income tax preparation as an example. If you need to have your taxes prepared April of each year, you have a lot of options out there. You can do them yourself. You can go find a volunteer organization to assist you. You can go to somebody you know for help, or you can enlist the services of a professional tax preparer or a professional tax preparation firm. All of these options offer a different level of service and a different price point. If you're a student with a part-time job, your needs are going to be very different than if you're a COO of a public corporation. It's very important to find resources that match your needs. The out-of-pocket cost that you pay is important, but it's really secondary to the cost of not meeting your objective or having to do it all over again. What you need to be seeking is value. If a prospect tells me that they're collecting quotes, and I hear that phrase a lot, I might ask them on what basis they intend to compare them. And very often they can't tell me. You need to have some criteria set out to help you through your decision process. Your budget and your timeline are very important considerations, but they're certainly not the only considerations. There are other factors to consider, such as the reputation of the organizations you're looking at, what type of certifications you may need, their industry and subject matter expertise, their experience working with your type of project or your source applications. When evaluating the resources, it's really essential to understand who you're dealing with, how they provide their services, and what their value proposition is in order to make a fair comparison. Translation is a professional service. It is not a commodity. That file in your hand is a byproduct. It's a link that enables you to meet your objectives. It's not the objective in and of itself. Think of this in terms of your own product or service offering. When your clients or a surgeon decides on a heart stent to use in surgery, hopefully he's not doing it on the basis of the lowest cost. When you're choosing packaging machinery for your manufacturing plant, hopefully you're not making your final choice because you can get it fast. Do you choose your dentist based on reputation, convenience, or because the cleaning is $10 less at this office than somewhere else? A little thoughtfulness in selecting who you're going to work with will go a long way. On the next slide, we have some elements that you may want to consider. ISO certification is critical to some of our clients because they need certain certifications in order to meet their own quality documentation. Types of project types that a company has worked on, the document and application experience. There's a whole checklist that you can put together for yourself. Really, you want to make sure that the organization you're considering is a good fit, but you also want to know how you're going to be interacting with them so that they can be an extension of your in-house team. Your marketing team, your regulatory team, your technical publications team, whoever drives your projects is going to be interacting with this resource to ensure that the outcome is what they need. Particularly if you've had a bad experience, and I do hear from a lot of organizations where they did a translation once upon a time and it was a disaster. Usually there's a good reason for that. Very often it's because they chose the wrong vendor or that they themselves were ill-prepared to manage a translation project. So your expectations or perhaps how you constructed your actual files for translation, these are all things that can cause projects to go bad. By working with a partner, considering your translation vendor to be a partner, they're going to be able to assist you in providing that critical communications link, that last piece of the puzzle to ensure that you reap the rewards of all your prior efforts. So this is not the time you want to be making hasty, ill-informed decisions or selling yourself short to save a few dollars. As with electricity, the circuit has to be complete or the lights don't go on. You want to make sure that in your vendor selection, you complete the circuit to ensure proper global expansion of your business.